All right, it's August 25th, Monday, and yesterday I spent about 4 hours cleaning out this storage unit, this shed behind me, so that when I bring stuff from Tampa, I can put it in there if I need overflow storage. And boy, it was pretty nasty in there. Um, there was all kinds of stuff like an old tent that was just completely rotted, just literally falling apart. You could put your finger right through the fabric. There's old 2x4s and posts and all kinds of stuff in there. So that's all been removed. And like I said, I spent about 4 hours cleaning it out. And on the outside, there was a hole. I don't know, it was like somehow was punched right through the building. Let me switch this around. Okay, so there it is. Hello there. Yeah, so what I did was, and this was the hole, and it was all like, it was punched out like this way. So the metal was all jagged and pointing out this way. So I just hammered it in as close to flat as I could. And then from the inside, well, I actually put some duct tape on the outside here to make it somewhat flat. And then from the inside, I just put Bondo on there. And that seemed to work really well. That sealed it right up. So I'm going to put a little Bondo on the outside here just to smooth it out a little bit. But let me take you inside, show you what it looks like now. This is a 10 by 20 shed. And so it's almost complete. I just have my Bondo stuff there. But yeah, it's completely cleaned out now. I still think I probably have to do a little bit more cleaning. It was interesting that these windows were actually open and the screens were letting air through, which I think was probably a good thing. I just shut them, but I think I'm going to open them back up because all of a sudden it has gotten much, much hotter in here. So yeah, I think I'll open them up and let the air come through a little bit more. But yeah, this is a great storage space now, and has a little bit of work that needs to be done on it. I don't know what the heck happened here. This is the ceiling. It's like the only part of the ceiling that's a problem, but geez, I don't even know how that happened. I can tell there's a tiny little hole right there. And if you look directly on the bottom where it is, I don't know if this shows up on camera, but the wood's a little bit crinkled there, probably from just little drips of water coming down. But it's not too bad. I think with a coat of paint, it'll be fine. So yeah, that's what I spent most of my Sunday on. All right, update later. Bye. It is Tuesday, August 26th. This is about midday update. And as I mentioned before, this little shed next to the mobile home is pretty good size. It's 10 by 20. That's 200 square feet of storage space. And yeah, it's a little too big to just ignore. So I'm doing some maintenance on it. And as I mentioned, the side had a hole punched through it. And I put some Bondo on the inside, and yesterday I put some Bondo on the outside. And it looks like it needs another coat, little sanding. It should be fine. So let me flip around here. All right, so here is the outside Bondo work that I did. Let's see here. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's ugly now. Another coat of Bondo and some sanding. And then fortunately it's right on that red strip. So I've got some red paint. I can just cover this entire strip with the red paint that I have. And that should be the end of that. However, that is not the only thing I'm dealing with. So this morning I came in and I wanted to deal with the hole in the ceiling, or the repair that they had done to the ceiling. So I went up on the roof and I removed the patch that they had done, and it left this. So that's what I'm dealing with now. Yeah, it had gathered a whole bunch of leaves and dirt and stuff, and they didn't really seal the piece of aluminum that they put above this. So, and they didn't even bother to cut this out. So I need to clean this up and then clean up the piece of sheathing that they had put back on or covered it with, and then put it on a little bit better myself, and then Bondo around it to make it seal, because if I'm going to put stuff in here, I do not want it leaking. So let me take you up on the roof. I think it's going to be actually easier to cut this out from the top. So if I go over here, I've got a ladder. Here is the piece. Let me back out a bit. This is what they had put over top, and it needs to be cleaned up, and a few pieces need to be cut off just to make it a little safer. But I think once it's cleaned, it should still be usable. Yeah, I got some holes to patch, but yeah, I think it should be okay. And then there is the hole. Let me go all the way up. And like I said, I think it will be easier to cut this out and clean it up from the top rather than from the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. And so that's going to be my task for today. I've already cleaned this a little bit. They had put a whole bunch of caulking along here. It didn't even seal between the roof and this thing here. It let air and water come through. So, and then they did another caulk job here, which was a little better, but not great. And there was a caulk job here. Again, not too good. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me with this one. All right, that's it for midday. I'll let you know what happens by the end of the day. Well, now I've gone and done it. Now I definitely have a big hole to deal with. I squared it up. Certainly not my most accurate work. And I took a file to it just to at least attempt to take off the sharp edges. So yeah, I'm going to clean up the piece that was on top of there and then put it back on, add some Bondo, get some of that sealant that they use on the top of trailers to cover the screw holes, and then maybe shoot it with a little Flex Seal and see what happens. So yeah, that's where I'm at. All right, Tuesday, end of day update. I've made a mess. A complete mess. Anyway, I am progressing. This was the piece of metal that was on the roof covering that disaster hole, and I cleaned it off. This is actually the top, which actually looks better now than the bottom. But this thing has plenty of holes in it. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe I should just get another piece of metal, but I know this one fits, and I can Bondo this up and patch these holes. The bottom side, that was the inside. So I brushed it off. It looks okay. It's just all these holes need to be repaired. So I'll get to that tomorrow morning. I am literally scraping the bottom of the bucket here with the Bondo. And I've done a little bit of Bondo up on the roof. I'll take you up and show you that. But yeah, here is the hole. Saw this before. I put some duct tape over the holes, allowing the Bondo to come through just a little bit until it hardens. So let's go up to the top of the roof. Give me a second here while I step onto the roof. Okay, so there it is. You can see I've done a little bit of Bondo. I'm going to probably sand this tomorrow and do another coat just to get everything somewhat sealed before I put that next piece on after it's been patched. And then I'll try to Bondo this along the edge here and down there and maybe along the sides. See if I can seal it up with Bondo or caulk or something. Got to use something, so I'm not sure what's going to be the best at this point. Caulk is okay, but you got a lot of space to fill here. Bondo might be the better way to go because you can really fill in the cracks a lot easier than with caulk. And then I'll get some stainless screws. The screws they had in here before were just a mishmash of all kinds of different screws, from drywall screws to wood screws to actual stainless steel screws they were fine, but you know, at least they could have been consistent. But anyway, I'm sure they were just trying to get the job done with what they had as fast as they could. So I'm gonna do the same, but I'm gonna try and do a little bit better job. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully, you know, I don't think we're gonna have any rain tonight, so I think we're good to go with leaving a hole in the roof. So we'll see. It won't be a disaster if it rains, but you know, I don't think we're going to get any rain. All right, talk to you tomorrow. While I'm up here, I thought I'd just do a quick pan around. It's a nice view from up here. And today was the first day we actually had a nice breeze, and the humidity was nowhere near as high as it's been. So much nicer weather is coming, I hope. So yeah, there's the Quonset hut and the pole barn with the trailer, and there's the Starlink tower, and then the field. It's the hay field, and then over there that way is the fire pit and the pond. That's it. Wednesday, late afternoon. Bondo arrived. Yay! I got plenty of Bondo now. So I switched gears and I got to work on this piece of metal that's going to go up on the roof. And you can see I've Bondoed it quite a bit to seal up a lot of those holes. All the outer perimeter holes I left because I'm probably going to try and reuse those holes for screws. No use punching brand new holes in something that's already Swiss cheese. And this is the top, but I also, spin this around 1 second here. I also hit it from the bottom, just in case. So any place that I had a patch, I thought, okay, maybe hit the bottom as well, just to seal it from both sides. And that's going to go up either maybe today, I don't know. It's got to be sanded, and I just kind of finished doing the Bondo. I like to give it at least 24 hours to really harden up, but I don't think we're going to get any rain again tonight, so I may just leave this till tomorrow, give it a quick sand, and then put it up. And let's go up on the roof. Oh, a little spider. Okay. All right, up on the roof. You can see I've done some additional Bondo work. I did sand it. Didn't do a whole lot of sanding. I mean, this doesn't need to be perfect, but I did do 2 or 3 more coats of Bondo on some critical areas, and this is just to seal it up underneath that plate that's going to go over top. So I think this is about as good as it's going to get, and I'm not even going to sand this. I think I'm just going to leave it as it is and put that cover piece of metal over top of this and screw it down. So that'll be, like I said, probably tomorrow morning, because right now we got beautiful weather. It's nice and dry. Don't expect any rain, at least till at the earliest Friday. So I think I'm good to go to leave this until tomorrow. Okay, that's it. I'm out. All right, it is Thursday, August 28th, and I'm doing a couple of little mini updates because I want to show you a couple of things before I actually install them, and it would be difficult to show after they installed. So this is the piece of metal that's going to cover that hole in the storage shed, and I sanded this thing way more than I wanted to. I thought I was going to just give it a quick sand and be done with it, but it needed a little bit more than that. I didn't add any more Bondo, but I did sand it both with the vibrator sander and by hand a little bit. And what I hate about sanding is it's loud and it's dusty and it's hard on the hands and it's hard to clean up, and it always shows you where you did a lousy job. That's the worst part of it. But I think it's going to be good enough. And I also wanted to show you that I coated this, after I did the sanding, I coated all these Bondo areas with the clear Flex Seal. And I've never used this product before, and I just thought I'd show you. I mean, I kind of like it. Excuse me. It sprays on almost exactly like spray paint, but think about the amount that gets sprayed on. It's like maybe 1.5 to 2.0 times the amount that gets sprayed on, and it takes about an hour to dry, you know, once you put it on. So this is the stuff here. It's Flex Seal Max. So like a rubberized coating. I'm just going to do a little bit here just to show you how it sprays on. I'll just do this little area here. It's already been done once, and you can do multiple coats if you want, but let's shake it up a little bit here. That's it. So that's about how it works. Like I said, pretty much like spray paint, but just a little bit heavier when it comes out. All right, when this dries, I'm going to install this and then Bondo the top and probably the sides and call it good. All right, that's it. All right, Thursday, August 28th, mini update number 2. I was thinking about this, and I don't know how well Bondo will hold up being exposed to direct sunlight on a roof every single day. I really don't know. Maybe it'll be just fine. Who knows? But I figure, why not just throw a coat of paint on this? Because this Valspar Duramax outdoor paint is actually designed for exactly that situation, you know, outdoor on metal paint. So I decided, all right, I'll throw 2 coats of paint on this piece of metal before I throw it up. And it's also a light color, so it might help to reflect the sun and, you know, keep the sunlight and heat away from the Bondo. Oh, and yes, the Flex Seal can be painted over top of it. It says so right on the can. So, yeah, I painted it. Looks good. It's ready to install. So I'm going to install and then do some Bondo and see how it looks. All right, I'll let you know when the next update is. Next mini update. It looks like I need a few more stainless steel screws. I have the fender washers, but I'll have to get them when I'm going into town tomorrow. So this did not go as planned, not even close. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men. Anyway, yeah, I assumed it would just go on exactly as it laid there when I took it off, and that just wasn't the case. So I did a little adjusting, and I think in the end it's okay. Not too bad. I do want to get another couple of screws and washers for here, down here, and one for there, and one over there, before I do the Bondo along this edge. This is the most important edge because you could have rain driving this way, running down underneath this thing and into the storage unit. But I seriously doubt if you're going to get water coming in this way, because the hole is here, right? So if you had water coming down here, it had to go down, up, all over these ridges till it gets to the opening and then go down in. But I will Bondo this. I mean, this actually will be easier to Bondo than that, because there's just a lot of gaping space there to fill in with Bondo. And I'll do the other side as well. But, and probably, well, you know, I'm thinking maybe I'll just use spray foam underneath here, because there is an opening from the bottom. I mean, just to prevent like bugs and stuff crawling up in there. So I'll use some spray foam on the bottom to prevent that. I'm not worried about water really going up in there, because this actually overlaps a little bit, so water runs off and down. So yeah, that's it. I got to get some more screws, and then once this is all battened down all the way as much as it's going to go, then I'll do the Bondo, just so it's all nice and tight, so it doesn't flex around when the Bondo is on there. And then maybe I'll do just a quick shot of Flex Seal all the way around to finish it off. All right, that's it for the roof for now. Okay, one more mini update for Thursday, August 28th. I'm down at the Quonset hut, and while I was waiting for the paint to dry on that piece of metal for the storage unit roof, I worked on the last hanging light fixture that was in the Quonset hut. So let's flip around and go take a look at that. All right, here we go. Here, that's the original one, and that's the other one in the front. And now we have this guy here. Let's back this out a little. So this is like the full light fixture. I mean, these two, I basically took one of these and broke it into two pieces, and I had two of these bars left over, but this is like the full kit. And so what I did was I added these bars here and here, here and here and here and here, just like I did on these guys. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can see them. And then I took two other wooden bars, which are, by the way, just fairing strips that you can buy at Lowe's. Just really cheapo pieces of wood that you can buy, and then I just painted them. So I put another one across here and tied them all together at each point where it intersects, here, with just screws, one screw there. And then it hangs from these two top bars up to the ceiling, from here, and here. And it's a little bit at an angle, this way and this way. So yeah, that's the full light fixture. I'm gonna turn it on now, and you can see how much light it gives you. 1 second here. I'm gonna put this down. Actually, I'm gonna turn the camera on and turn it back on again. Okay, that's the full light fixture on. And I'll just back off. You can see like maximum lighting right now. You got all three ceiling lights plus the two side LEDs, and it's very nicely lit in there. Let's put it that way. Could it be brighter? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if I get another set of two here and here, it'll get a little brighter. But honestly, I think that's pretty darn good for now. Yeah, I just need to now get all these hooked up to switches like I have in the back there. And I think, I've been thinking about this, and I think I'm going to just go with a plain old 3-gang switch right here, and they can all get switched on right from here as you walk in the door. So that's where it'll be. The switch for all these 3 ceiling lights will be right there. And the other day, moving on to something else, I got all of the 2x4s cut for the second one of these units. So that's them right there. They need to be assembled, just screwed together. And I got all the 2x4s cut for the second one of this shelving units there and there and there. So yeah, that all just has to be assembled, and that'll be the second one of that and the second one of that. So yep. One more thing. I was thinking about this, and I decided I would at least give it a try, and that is to put these shelving units on rollers. If I do this, I really have to remove the top one. It's just too high. It just comes too far off the wall with that curvature. But this seems to be pretty good with just 4 shelves. And I'm thinking that in the end, I can rotate these things like this and have them lined up, boom, boom, boom. And if I need something, just roll it out, get what you need, and then roll it back in. And I can put some tracks along the bottom just so it remains in a line coming out. So they're almost like drawer shelves, if you will. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. But yeah, and I want to also get something to go on here just to make it a little easier to put stuff and organize it on here. This is no good. It's just way too expensive. I'm looking for some maybe like 1/4-inch MDF that I can put on top of here. And then I don't have all these holes to deal with. So it just makes it a nice, clean surface to put stuff on. So yeah, I mean, it didn't take too long. I mean, about 20 minutes to make this little roller unit. And yeah, it could be an interesting idea. So yep, that's it for today, Thursday, August 28th. I'm out. All right, Friday, August 29th. End of day, just wrapping it up for the week. Had to go into town this morning, get some supplies. That took up a good portion of my day, but I did get a few things done in the Quonset hut, and got some 2x4s. Probably going to use these to build the shelves in the little storage unit, and probably have enough. Well, I don't know. I might just do it. And then I started to do some wiring to wire up this one down here. It's going to be a 3-gang switch that will hit. Each one of these will be on a single switch right at the front door there. So you have a switch for that, a switch for that, and a switch for that. And that's all I'm going to do for now. The only thing I have to do with this one here is, because it's currently hooked to this switch over here, and the wire to power it comes on this side, is just spin it so that this is over here, and then all of the, let me back out here, all the wires will come along this top here and just run through some of these little hooky things. Where are they? Yeah, like that. They're just eye bolts that hang from the ceiling, and I'll run the wires through that for now. So yeah, that's it for the week. I'll be working again tomorrow, so I will see you next week.